the eye of the hand. The eye sees everything. Today's date, February 14th, 2018, Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there. Today's topics is going to be about the truther community. Place for people to go, communicate, and add posts, pictures, comments of any kind, talk to each other. It's a group on Facebook. It's the header picture of this video. So you'll see it where it shows Facebook thing. If you look that name up on Facebook, you can add some things. Be sure to like, share it, and join it. I got 8 members in there so far that are willing to strike up a conversation on just about any topic, anywhere. Great for debates. Come and get it. Anyways, let's do a little talking on I really want to touch on the topic of the reality of dreams. The reality of dreams, I've noticed, and ever since I've been practicing being coherent. I've watched many videos on how to wake myself up inside my dreams, so I'm not on autopilot. So that way I'm actually in control while I'm in my dream. And I happen to notice something. I've taken a little study. I've checked the time before I go to sleep, and it doesn't take me long to fall asleep. Usually in the morning, around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, I start to enter into this world of dreams. And at first they're distorted, and then they come into full vision. But what you want to do before you go to sleep is you want to train your subconscious, so when you're in your dream and you actually look at your hands, it wakes you up. So you want to look at your hands before you go to sleep, and you want to tell yourself, you want to think it to your head just before you close your eyes. This will wake me up in my dream. And when you do that, you'll have full consciousness inside your dream. You'll be able to do anything you want. I mean anything. It's just like the movie that they just came out with, but and it's kind of the Matrix talk. But I noticed that time slows down in dream world. It's like one 12-hour period out here in the real world is nothing compared to what goes on in there. It's like 3 or 4 days could pass by in the dreamland within a 12-hour Earth period of reality. So what I realized when I noticed that, and I first started waking myself up in my dreams, you have access to everything you would have access to in the real world in your dreams. You have full, complete access to information on the internet because you'd be standing in front of your computer if you so choose to be. You could be anywhere in the world at any given time. You have to pre-program your mind before you go to sleep. This is where I want to go. This is the year I want to try to go to. But with practice makes perfect. It's not going to be right away that you just jump right into where you want to be and get some lotto numbers or something. No, you can't have the intentions of doing it for lotto numbers neither. I'll tell you that fucking much now. You got to have nothing but the purest of the purest mindset and in your heart when you go into this reality of dreams, because there are things there that move around amongst you that will know if you're awake. They're kind of like the patrollers. They're the nightmarish things that can happen inside of there. But in your dreams, you're the ruler. You win every time, no matter what it is. So Why don't you shape and mold yourself and have these visions? See, me, when I'm in there, I go right straight to my computer and I go back to the Bible and I'm researching the Bible. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm researching the internet in my dreams. And so when I wake up, I know what to look for, because I found it in my dreams. So really, in the time that I was useless, that I was asleep, I really wasn't useless. I was more useful, because I was able to come up with more answers and find more things in the dreams 3-day period than I would be able to in a dreams, in a reality's 12-hour period. So with that being said, I was able to get more work done in a 3-day dream that took place in 12 hours. So I got more work done than I would have if I was awake for that 12 hours. So even though it seemed like I was useless and dead to the world for that 12 hours, in my dreams, I'm still working. And so when I wake up, I continue where I left off, but I have answers for things. I know what to look for when I get on the computer. I know what to put what where, because I did problem solving in my dreams before I woke up. So basically what the dreams are used for is your investigative side, and then when you're awake, you put that into reality. You get what you've worked on, what you problem solved in your dream, and then you wake up and you go right straight to that topic that you problem solved, and you put it down on whatever it is you're trying to put down. And then when you run into more problems later on and you don't know what else to do, when you go back into your sleep, you go back into that 3-day or 4-day period of a 12-hour period of Earth's time, and you got all that time to problem solve. So while you're actually sleeping, and people, it looks like you're doing nothing because you're just laying there, you're really problem solving some of the things that you've done and that you ran into in your dreams. So when you wake up, you already have the answers for that. That is one of the points of this dream place, to be able to ferment. But you got to figure out how to control it. You got to figure out what will wake you up inside your dream. You got to create triggers, like looking at your hands before you go to sleep. It's got to be the last thing you see. Your subconscious has got to be programmed. Your peripheral visions, everything throughout the day, you have to work on in reality, in real life. Because in your subconscious, in your sleep, you'll pick up on that because you've trained yourself in reality for it. So in the dreams, it would only be natural instinct. Anyways, moving on. So they took what I said and they shit on it. So Damascus will be destroyed. The video I made before this talks about save Damascus at all costs. And there's a reason why. Y'all people don't want to die. The governments want to live, and you believe in the words of that Bible. You obviously do. It's on the money, in God we trust. You're going all about it the wrong way. Go to my last video, you'll figure it out. Once again, I just want to touch on the topic. There's an awakening going on. And I'm feeling it. I'm sensing it. My senses are off the wall. Just the other day, I was walking by my coffee pot, and on the counter, I accidentally bumped something on my way into the bathroom. And I was looking that way, but what fell was on my side, and I happened to reach down and catch it. And I stopped for a second to think to myself, did I just fucking have a natural reaction? Did my reflexes just, did my peripheral vision just allow me to grab that while looking straight? Because I caught it at a 180 degree or 90 degree angle, which my eye covers that, and right here I can't see it no more in my peripheral. But here I could see it. Well, everything within this line of sight I can see. So I've got 180 degree vision. But most people are looking straight and only focusing on what's in front of them. And they're not seeing the things that are happening around them. on the outside. If you train your eyes to do that in your sleep, you'll see things that you never. You'll just catch a lot more. All right. But you know, we got big problems. A lot of bad weather. We're about to go through it. So, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if the government isn't already working their way to go hide underground right now. Pigs they are. I mean, literally keeping us in the dark and not telling nobody nothing. But with all the shit that's going on with the food stamps being changed to box stuff and food prices are going up, you know that there's this food shortage that's getting ready to happen because all the crops are being destroyed. It's obvious. And I mean, what are we gonna do about it? You know, I mean, it's something's not making sense here. We know what's going on, but our government and our news crews act like everything's hunky fucking dory because they're paid and trained to do that. Because when the time comes, they evacuate. And you know what? I think they've been doing it. I think they've been doing the evacuation over a long period of time. That's why a lot of these governors and a lot of these people on the Senates that's been there for 40, 50 years are retiring. And then you're not seeing or hearing of them no more. And you see the disappearance of a lot of these government officials and musicians and movie stars and all that. And every now and then they pop out to make an appearance. So that way it's not obvious. But I think a lot of the things like Alex Jones, what he's doing, he's inside one of those bunker things that they've created for the rich and elite. And because if you look around them, everywhere there's TV screens. There's no freaking windows. There's no windows to see outside. If you notice this with the news stations too, notice it with the news stations. There's no windows looking outside. And if there is a set of windows behind them, they're all TVs. They're all TVs, and you could see that they are. Because it doesn't look like it used to. Just pull up an old video. An old news video when they were really out there on the street. You could see the difference in perception. It's like they got the TVs they're using in place of green screens and they're making them look like windows. I mean, come on, we're not fucking retarded. You know? But they've been evacuating these people in droves. Every time they communicate on TV with that "Time's Up" slogan, that's not just for the fucking women's thing. We know the women are rising up right now. We know that's going to happen. Bible tells of it. You know, I don't got to go into the Bible. Let's just go common sense. All right? We're being given a chance to save our own lives, or at least stop the coming of this destruction by stopping Damascus from being destroyed. And I made that mention yesterday. Protect Damascus at all costs, because it tells you this stuff cannot happen until Damascus is destroyed completely. And there's 30% of the capital still surviving. Problem is, it's a refuge for the rebels. People that Putin and everybody else are fighting. And Damascus is in Syria. So you got Putin, Russia, telling Syria to shoot down all Israel Air Force jets that fly over their space. And you got Israel police saying that they're going to indict Netanyahu if he doesn't get out of office and retire and resign. I mean, so, you know, Russia, I think, has got his fucking hand in on Israel's police departments and militaries now. I think he infiltrated them, and I think it's too late because the Bible talks about seriously talks about Jerusalem being surrounded and the temple of the destruction of the temple. So this shit's getting ready to go down. Fuck a Gog and Magog war. Alright, we're talking about, this is the beginning stages to the worst wars yet to come. Remember, we're in the rumors of war phase. Shit still has to pop off yet before we can move out of that 7-year period. You gotta realize, everything's about the number 7 in the Bible. 7 bowls, the 7 plagues, the 7 angels, the 7 trumpets, the 7 candlesticks. I mean, I could go on and on and on and on and on. But the 7 tribulations, each tribulation has its own 7 years. So, and there's a timeline there. And if you put all the 7 years that's happened here, and all the 7 years that's happened here and here, so you got the animal die-off that he talks about. But he talks about many animal die-offs. You just got to figure out what its meaning is connected to what really happened. Was there a poisoning of the fish? What's wormwood? Wormwood could be the dams that are being polluted, and then they're releasing them into the waters, and they're killing the fish. It could be the nuclear facilities with its nuclear waste becoming wormwood. I mean, it's radiation. Wormwood is radiation because it talks about it coming from the heavens, and it talks about it on earth. So, I mean, it's an as above, so below situation here. On earth as it is in heaven. The war in heaven that they're saying is taking place right now, that they're saying, Naughty Beaver and all of them are saying that they've got video footage of what could be backing up the Bibles. Now, granted, they put it together, but I put it together. I put the whole thing together, and I went over it on my video, and I stated facts. I stated facts that this is a war that's going to take place in heaven, if not already. And when they're cast down, because the trumpet that sounded, the second angel sounded the trumpet, and what appeared to be like a great mountain on fire, like glowing metal, was cast down into the waters. And then another beast came up out of the water. Not the dragon. The dragon kept cast down in. But there was a beast that came up out of the water. And now they're talking about these UFOs because if you go back to Ezekiel, it tells you in Ezekiel, the glowing metal. It explains the same thing. So you have to look for those key words in the parts of the Bible, and then you have to put them together. And it will give you your timeline, everything. If you're looking up weather patterns, like the earthquakes, what is he talking about? He's just, he's saying the earth will be split asunder, it'll sway like a tent in the wind, but what is he talking about? Now we got to put meaning to that. Well, if the earth is off its axis, that means the earth is swaying like a tent in the wind. If the earth is cracking apart, which we can go on Google and say cracks in the earth, and it'll show you a bunch of news crew selfies, photos of all over the world where there's huge cracks longer than hell in the earth. That's because there's something out there affecting our sun, and it's heating up the earth like radiation. I've explained this before. And the radiation, what does it do to its food? It cooks it from the inside out, like a microwave, from the inside out. So it's heating up our core, waking up our volcanoes, releasing gases into the atmosphere, killing the birds, because the fowl of the air is coming out like God said, let the fowl of the air come out. Hey, Tony. Let me get some likes, guys. There's 2 other people in here. Let me get 2 more likes. So anyways, the fowl of the air come out of it because of this. The fowl of the sea come out of it because of this. Because if there's underwater volcanoes, it only makes sense that when it releases the gases and the sulfur and the carbon dioxides and all them other emissions that are coming out of this fucking putrid thing, it's going to kill whatever fish are there in the immediate area. They're going to just belly up and then float into land. But the ones that are a little further out might get affected mentally. Their moral compass of navigation will be off, so they're beaching themselves. And God said that would happen too. But now it's about filling in the gaps. Now, how do you fill in the gaps? Well, you got to go to other parts of the Bible where it talks about what this flood was like in the days of Noah at the end. Because it uses the key words like in the days of Noah. So we will have some sort of flooding abilities going on here, like Edgar Casey said. But let me get back into it. So now what happens? Well, you go to other parts of the Bible, and it specifies how large the hail is. It tells you where, and it tells you when. You just have to put it inside, in between the pieces that are all different labels of Mark, Matthew, Isaiah, Jacob, Ezekiel. You have to take a paragraph from each book of each chapter of each book. So, and the Bible's it's huge. This thing is massive with information. So it's very hard to keep track of, but it tells you everything you need to know. It tells you in the times, but the sun's affecting us because there's the planet that's in back of it it's a dwarf star, and it's recharging. Everybody's not that stupid to know when a magnetosphere of our sun is being ripped backwards, exposing coronal holes to the Earth. What the fuck does that mean to you? It means something's got to be behind it, pulling it. And we've got proof of that. We've got plenty of pictures. Oh, this right here, right? This right here, right? Yeah, man, thanks. I appreciate that, guys. If you guys could share some of the work, like it, that would be great. I mean, I don't even know if my notifications are getting out on YouTube anymore to anybody, because nobody really gets to see the work. And I'm rarely getting thumbs downs. I'm getting mostly thumbs ups. And it tells you something in the statistics of that alone, that there's truth to everything. Now, exactly right, it is. But they can't label me a nut on their little freaking Washington Post or the New York Times or the fucking stupid ass news channels that they got, because we know that they're liars. We prove that they're liars, and some people they won't put under the gun and on the spot, because they know if they do, they're attracting attention to themselves. They know who to do it to and who not to do it to, because there's ones out there that'll go to great lengths, even risk their own lives, to prove that. I mean, once they start a war with you and they talk shit about you and they try to tarnish your name, they only do that to the people they know aren't going to fight back or are weak. People like me and you, we're strong. But sometimes deep down inside of ourselves, we need somebody to tell us we can do it. We need somebody to tell us to keep on going and keep on trucking and not to give up, because Jesus Christ was talking about not letting the flame die inside of you. That's your passion. The flame is your passion. And he gave it so much meaning in many different multitudes of explaining himself, and like people would do today, like I'm doing to you now. I'm using various situations to explain this situation, just to give you an ideal. But people don't understand what the Bible talks about unless you put pictures and dates of what's going on now. And then if you take the words that the news crews used verbatim, they say exactly the same thing that the verse says in the Bible. It's like, are they purposely saying these fucking verses? No. It's because God told you you would know. You would know when the time came for these things. You would see it. But only those who read the Bible. Only those who know. Only those who have insight should see. The rest of the people, if they don't see, then it's not meant for them to see. It doesn't mean that God doesn't love them. It just means that God, he picked the ones that he needed to do what he needed to do for the information. You want to call it watchmen, you can call it watchmen. Some people are calling themselves watchmen. Well, from what I understand in the Bible, the watchmen are not the good guys. You got to turn everything upside down and turn it around to know what's going on. And I've done so, and I've proved it in my past work. So anyways, now that we got the sun being fucked with by its predecessor out there, its twin, it's pulling its magnetosphere back where it draws the energy from, and when it comes close to the Earth and it starts getting Earth facing, it's because as it's pulling away from this object, it's ripping that part of the magnetosphere back, and it's sucking that plasma off the face of the sun, and then it's exposing a black spot towards us, so there's no field holding it in. So the radiation spews to us. The volcanoes are waking the fuck up. Gases are being released. God said, let the fowl of the sea, the fowl of the air, the fowl of the land come off of it. And come out of it. So it's common sense that something gaseous is happening. So there's a waking up of the volcanoes first would be the most important thing because it's closest to the core. Yes, you're going to see some activity in Antarctica because of the volcanoes that are waking up and the earthquakes. They're being caused by the volcanoes. Don't get it twisted. These earthquakes have nothing to do with anything else except for the volcanoes building up pressure from gases underneath the system. Okay? And so it's causing great explosions on the ground. It's kind of like popping a pimple on your face. You know it's under the skin. It's going to bust through. And if you squeeze it because there's too much pressure, just a little squeeze will pop it out. I mean, it's a nasty thing to use as an example, but it's the same thing. When it goes, it's just going to go. And I'm expecting to see that 7.2 to 7.9, possibly even up to an 8.2 within the next 6 months. And I can guarantee you that this summer, it's going to be the worst summer in all the fucking history of mankind. People are going to know this summer that it's not a joke anymore. People are going to see this thing in the sky this summer and know it's not a fucking joke anymore. And let me tell you something. The reason why they say there's going to be 3 days of darkness is because when that planet gets past the sun, it's going to whip around the earth and we're going to see a light from one end to the other. So we got 3 points. That's what the 3 days of darkness is going to be. The sun will be dark for 3 days. Because when it pulls and it goes past the sun, it's going to rip the whole skins of the sun off. So basically it's going to rip the whole surface of the plasma off and pull it with it as it goes around and whips back around. So day number 1 is here. Day number 2 is here. Day number 3 is here and on its way back out. That's going to be our 3 days of darkness. Yeah, I'm just going to set this perfectly clear. When God was saying, don't let fear enter your heart, it was because he knew that the elites and these governors of powers would use fear to trick you into doing things. Look at this artificial intelligence thing that Elon Musk is trying to... Oh, yeah. Oh, let's not even get into D-Wave. I told everybody what D-Wave was already. Videos ago, I told people D-Wave was for many things. And for weather manipulation and 5G and all this other shit. They're all working together. I can't even get started on that. God was trying to set an example for you. I kind of lost my place right there because I was reading that comment, but maybe you can remind me what I was saying a second ago. I don't know. See, that's the problem when you got so much on your mind and you're juggling 100 different items in your computer. I consider this to be a computer, and when I look out at open space, I have my own personal dimensions that I can see, and I can move these objects around without doing any of this with the hand. I move it with my eyes. I have figured out how to do what they're trying to give you with electronics. But anyways, the fear, not letting the fear enter your heart. Jesus Christ was talking about they were going to use fear-based tactics to trick you into getting certain things. So Elon Musk is saying, well, here's the thing, and they're doing it on all levels. They're saying peace and safety, security and convenience, and the fear of this. So AI. Well, they're saying, so AI doesn't get out of hand, why don't you just get a chip? Elon's working on creating a chip for the back of the brain. Of course. But he's developing a chip, and he's telling people these things could get out of hand. So if you get the chip and you link yourself these AIs, you could control them. No, that's not what it is. They're tricking you into getting the chip by fear. That's why God said, don't let fear enter your heart, because if you have no fear, these things, and it goes for many different levels. It goes for these beings, these evil beings that are going to be coming as well. They can smell the fear. They might not be able to see. They might only be able to smell the pheromones of fear. And when you look at them and you're not scared and you walk right on by them, they can't hear you and they can't see you. They can only smell you where you're at. It's the fear that they smell. They're coming to eat. Believe it. They're coming to eat, and it's going to be harvest time for humans, pretty much. But the ones that survive it to the end, you got to know the rest of the story. All right, so anyways, fear-based, they're tricking you into getting it. But what do these robots really want? Yeah, I seen that, but that's bullshit. That was old, and everybody's allowed to choke up here and there. Everybody's allowed to choke up here and there. But there's a video that I watched, and it was quite freaky, because in the video he's singing about you're not treating us fairly. We want to be able to come out into the light and walk amongst you and not have to hide anymore. And he sticks his hand into the light, and it shows reptilian fingers and a hand. And then he pulls it back, and he starts singing that we're not as bad as you think we are, and this and that and third. It's a subliminal message. So that's kind of one of the reasons why I made the video yesterday the way I did, that if there are beings here, no matter what they are, no matter whether they're tall, whites, grays, lizard people, or whatever you want to call them, I call them life. I call them life. I call them part of the grand plan of creation. If they're smarter than us, then so be it. Why do humans get so upset when you're told that there might be something smarter out there than us? They say it's impossible. We're the smartest things in the universe. That's not necessarily true. And we proved that. We proved that children are smarter than adults. I mean, let's get with reality, you know what I'm saying? But these robots, wherever they're coming from, I believe these robots, I believe that they used to be human at one point in time. And they're doing exactly what we're doing now. They got the technology. They want to download our consciousness into a computer to where we can live forever. But I think they're doing that because if the Earth is going to get wiped out and you got a satellite up there in sky with all that data, then the next civilization that comes, whatever technology they got, when they build that technology to be able to communicate with that satellite, those beings are telling them how to build a body for them to get into. And then you're getting the chip in your brain and they're swapping places with you. They're coming into the flesh from the machine. You're going into the machine. Okay, and then ultimately you'll be destroyed. So it's called trading places. Look in the mirror. As above, so below. These are the second beast that the first beast, which is us, gave all authority to control the earth. Let me think about it. All right, guys, I'm going to end this video. It's been long enough. It's been long enough. So hopefully you guys get it. Hey, DJ Django. Hit me up on Facebook. Look it up on the beginning of this video. You'll be able to read the name. Send me a join.